Sue Boo, bringing crafting to you, and today we're going to make an exploding treat box to fit our lint little rabbit. This will probably fit the lint teddy as well, it's just that I've got rabbits today. So if you're shopping with me, please use the host code. This is until the 25th of April, and then I will be getting a new host code. So please don't shop after the 25th with this host code. So there we go. Thank you very much. Right, we're going to start with the lid of the exploding box, which measures 5 and 11/16. So when we say 5 and 11/16, if you go to 5 3/4 and pull it back 1, that's where your 11, that is where your 11/16 are. So take it to the 3/4, so that'd be 5 3/4, pull it back 1 little mark, and that is your 5 and 11/16. Then by 6 and 7/16. So if you've got your 6 and you pull it to 6 1/2, and then just take it back 1 mark, that is your 7/16. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to score this all the way round at 2 inches. So just put it in your trimmer, line it up with the 2-inch mark, and then score all the way round. So just keep turning it round and scoring it on the 2-inch mark. So we've got it all the way round, and scoring it on the 2-inch mark and the 2-inch mark. Okay, so let's just move the trimmer, and we're just going to burnish those score lines. So I'm just going to burnish those there. There we go, and the final one. There we go. Now just run your bone folder all the way around your edge in case you've got any bits of your card sticking up. This will just flatten them down. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to cut up this, not the score line. So we're going to cut up about 1/2 inch away from your score line to the next score line down and stop. Okay, so I've left about 1/2 inch there, and then we're going to turn it, but this time we will cut all the way down the score line to this score line here. So I'm cutting down the score line all the way to that score line there. So it leaves us a little tab like that. So I'm going to do the same at the other side. So approximately about 1/2 inch. I'm not measuring it, I'm just eyeballing it because this is our tab. So cutting down to that score line, then we're turning it round and cutting all the way down to this score line here. There we go. And then we're going to turn it round all the way to face that, and we're going to do exactly the same. Leave about 1/2 inch, cut down to that score line, then turn it back and cut all the way down the score line to that score line there. Okay, and then exactly the same. So we're cutting 1/2 inch down and turning it round and cutting all the way down to the score line. So you're left with a piece that has 2. Hiya Valerie, how are you? Hope you're well. So you've got 2 tabs there, and what we'll do with these tabs is we're just going to cut a slight nick wedge in them. So we're only doing this very slightly, and we're going to do this on each of our tabs. into the corner. So I'm using Night of Navy cardstock. I turn that round and again do the little nicks off, and then this there and one more there. Okay, so just move my pieces out of the way. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to decorate the box before we actually glue it together. So you've got to decide which is your front and which is your back. So I'm going to have this as my front. So the pattern pieces that I've chosen is from the Boho Indigo. So my pattern is going to face so that this is the front of my box. So my piece of DSP for the centre top is 1.5 inches by 2 5/16. So this is going to go, and we're just going to have equal increments all the way round. There we go. It's such beautiful paper. I'm so in love with it. Now, directional paper, so we're making sure that this one, when it sits upon the box, is going to be like that. So we're making sure that our DSP is the right way round if you've got directional paper, which I have. So I'm going to make sure. This measures 2 5/16 by 1 7/8. So I'm just going to line that up with equal increments. There we go. Now I'm going to spin this round because then this is going to face down as well. And this is the same size as I've just told you. So I'm going to make sure that this is facing the right way. Right, so the card, this is the lid, and it measures 5 11/16 by 6 7/16, and you score it at 2 inches all the way round. So that's the lid so far. Then I'm going to face it like this towards me because this is going down like this. So I'm going to face this towards me. And this, whoops, no, not that piece, this piece. And this piece measures 1 7/8 by 1.5. So be careful, no problem. If you have got directional, this is facing the right way down. So I'm just going to make sure I've got equal increments there. Facing down, and this is the same size, so I'm turning it round to face me so that I'm getting it right, so that when it all comes together it will be fine. And so we've got that. There we go. Right. Now, I was going to do wet glue, but I've changed my mind, and just to make sure it speeds up and it dries in time, I'm going to cheat and use my strong adhesive tape. So all I do with this, and I can get it out of the box, is I run it along the edge of my folds. So it goes across here, all the way just under that score line like that. Just cut it and just make sure that's burnished down, and I'm going to do the same with the opposite side. So it's just underneath that score line. I will lift it up to show you, just 1 minute. So I'm just running it underneath that score line. So it's just underneath that score line. So I'm going to turn it round and do exactly the same with the other side, that tape is just under that score line. again on the other side, just underneath the score line. Okay, and then just really make sure that this is burnished down well. So if we burnish it down well, it sticks to the card and then it's easier to get the release tape off. So just burnish that down well, and then use your pokey towel, which I thought I got out. Found me one that's been buried for a while, so I've got it out already, it's over there, so use my Stampin' Up one for a change. So it makes it easy then to pick this off. This is a lot thicker than my other X-cut one, so it's quite a nice point and poke on it, really. So now I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on the very edge of the tabs, so that will make those go in. So I'm not putting it over the tape, and then I'm going to bend it back, bring it round, match up the score line, and then press down. Okay, so I'm going to do the same again. So I'm going to put the glue on this part, and then bring it round, just be level with that score line, just go down inside, turn it round, and then again with this one, I'm going to pop that one down. So I'm marrying up that score line there, and again just going to pop this in. Made it difficult for myself now, haven't I? And with it being navy, struggling to see where I'm putting the glue, never mind. And then just bring this in, line it up, and that's your box lid done. And I'm just so in love with that already, so I love that. It's really is beautiful paper. So that's your lid finish. So if we just pop that on one side, and then we have got a piece that measures 4 1/8 by 2 1/4. I'm just gonna put my pin in my glue. Okay, and we're going to score this at 3/8. So I'm going to score on this side because it's always easier to score the little bits on this side of your trimmer. So I'm scoring that at 3/8. Thank you. It is gorgeous. I love it. So I'm going to turn it now 180 degrees and then score it at 1 7/8. I'm trying to get it exactly at my 1 7/8. Score down there, and then move it to 2 1/4 and score again, and then 3 3/4. Okay, 3 3/4. Right, now I always like to just roughly, I'm not burnishing it yet, I'm just seeing which one I want my there. So it's, well, you could do it either way really, it won't really matter. Now my die is 1 inch in width by 1 1/2 wide, so it's an oval one, and it just beautifully fits my rabbit in. Now the Stampin' Up one that I've got, it doesn't quite fit. you could use your smaller Stampin' Up one and then cut in it so that your rabbit will fit in. But I'm lucky I've got a die that fits perfectly well in that. So I'm afraid I use this one because it fits everything. So you're just going to make sure that you put your die equally in between these score lines and the side. So we're trying to get that as even as we possibly can. So I'm just gonna hopefully try and get that as evenly as we can, and then pop that in and let that go through. Okay. So this is Magenta Madness, the pink that I've got. As I keep telling everybody, I just love the cerise pinks, and you can save that for another project. We don't need that for this one. Pop those out of the way and these out of the way. So that's it for die cutting. I can now go ahead and burnish all my score lines now. Burnish those score lines. There we go. And that. So I'm giving a double kind of ledge there. Right, so I'm going to again adhere to this part. So I'm putting tape on here. So I'm going to spin this round. So this is the opposite one to the one that's got the hole on. Just double check. Oh, actually, no, sorry, I need to take that back. I'm swapping it round. I need to put tape on the one that's got the oval one, and again right up to that score line we're going. Okay, and then we'll just cut that off, and then again burnish that. And I did want it other way, didn't I? Never mind, I did want it on the other one. Oh, why did I not stick to what I said I wanted? I'm going to leave that on, and I'm just going to stick it on the one that I wanted. Okay, so it was that other one that I wanted. Why I changed my mind, I don't know, but there we go, I did. So we will take that off, and then I'm going to pop that there in the fold and just bring that down there to match it on there. Okay, and because I've now got some tape on here, I am going to put a thin bit of DSP on there. So I've got some thin bits, so I will just now stick a thin bit of the DSP. So I'm always getting little bits left over, so that's just perfect. I'm just going to cut that off, so I'm just going to peel that, and that can go on there. So that will just be 3/8 of an inch on that. So okay, I'm not worried about the pattern or anything. I'm just going to pop that on there, and I will stick another piece of the tape on the other side and do the same. So that's it. Just cut that off. So you don't have to do this bit. It was because I made a mistake in putting the tape on the other side, and I didn't want it on that side. So I'll just tell you, to say it will be 3/8 of an inch wide, and I will tell you in a minute. The width is the same as the card, which is 1.5 inches wide. So I'm going to do that and finish that down. So that is now like that. Okay, but you don't have to do that bit. I made a mistake on that. Right, now you need a piece for the exploding bit that measures 7 3/8 by 6 5/8. So that's 7 3/8 by 5 6/8. And all we're going to do is score this one at 2.5 all the way round. So just going to score this at 2.5, turn it, put it back in at 2.5, and just do that, and again at 2.5. And that is the reason why I take my cutting blade off, because it's so easy when you're filming that you don't look back. You just feel for your blade, and when it falls off like it's just done again, you pick up your cutting blade and you cut yours instead of actually scoring. And that's when you ruin it, and I can't afford to ruin it because this is my last piece big enough of Magenta Madness to be able to do it with, and I've run out then, so I'll have to get some more. Right, so we've burnished and scored that on all 4, and all we're going to do is cut up each of the score lines. So I'm cutting up the score line to the next score line. Then I'm going to cut it up the score line totally to meet the next score line. So it will just take off your square piece, or it might be a rectangle. It looks square, but some of them are square, some of them might be rectangles. So again, you're just cutting up that score line to the middle, and then you're coming back in and you're doing the same, just cutting up the next score line, and that will just cut that square out so you can save your squares for other projects. And so again, cut up that score line to the middle, and then cut up the next score line don't want to cut too much, and then the next score line, and then the last score line that we're cutting up. So we're going to end up with a cross shape. Okay, so just go there. Right, so as I say, you can save those pieces. Now what I'm bringing in is my trio corner, trio punch, and I'm just going to round each of my corners. So I'm going to put that fully in and round each of my corners in here. I'm going to go in that one. That one. That one. And in the right position. So we've got that like that. Okay, so I've rounded all my corners. Now, this, as you can see, is coming towards me. So I'm going to let it fall flat, and we are going to decorate it now. So we're going to put the DSP on the inside. So again, this is directional paper. So I'm checking that I'm getting the right direction for me corner round in my punch. Now these are 2 1/4 by 2 3/8. So we've got 2 at those, and then we've got 2 at 2 3/8 by 1 1/2. So I'm just going to make sure I've got them in the right direction and then corner around them. Okay, and then there's this one goes that way. So I'm just going to corner around and that, and then the last one that comes that way. So I want to corner around that and that. So I'm going to put those. So now I'm just going to glue those down. There we go. Yes, you always have to do something, don't you, to make it. My motto is that it's not a mistake, it's just another way to be creative. Yes, it's different, isn't it, rounding the corners? Because I absolutely love exploding boxes. I do a lot of projects where I've got exploding boxes, and I do a lot where you don't take out the corners, that the corners overlap. So this is a bit of a different one today than I've done in the past. So just thought I'd try this, but this looks quite pretty with the rounded corners. I think it's there we go. So that's there. Right, so I'm going to face this way, and there we go. And so I'm going to now just put glue on the base of my cut out piece. So I'm just going to put some glue on there, and then pop this as closely as I can in the middle, making sure that it's not going, and I'll just bend that to make it go down, bend that to make it go down. So, and then bring it back up into position, and just to secure the lint in place, I'm looking all over. I've put them out of my way down there, and I'm just going to get a glue dot. So these are quite big. This probably will rip the card, or it will rip the foil when you take it out, but it will just nicely hold that in place like that. So you've got that pretty. Now you could put a sentiment here if you wanted to, but I've not decided yet whether this is going to be a birthday or a thank you. So I'm going to leave that free at the moment. I'm just going to bring these all up now, and then pop the box lid on the top. So this is looking like this now. And then I thought I would actually do a nice little bow on the top. And so I'm going to use a big, so I've already tied my bow. Don't know whether I want to make it a little bit smaller. So do that. I think I quite like that. So I'm going to just stick that on with a big glue dot, because this is quite fat ribbon. I'm going to peel that off and just put that in there. So that's the way of the box, that's the front. So I'm going to pop that probably around about there. So that will enable me to be able to add a sentiment tag if I wanted to later on. So I'm just going to cut my bow now. There we go. So as I say, you could also, as I say, I've left room to be able to hang a tag off there, so I could use some thinner like twine to hang the tag off, or you could put a sentiment on here, but then you open it up and out it flops. Now just bend your card backwards and forwards to break down the fibres a little bit more. So I'm bringing it backwards and forwards, and that will make it explode a little bit better. So we'll just try that again. So bringing these up, and then, so when we take it off, it explodes better. Okay, so I think that's rather pretty. I do like that. And I just, as I say, love the magenta against the Night of Navy, and I just, the patterns, I don't know whether I've showed you all. I've got to show you them all, Valerie, because they are just such pretty papers. I am a big fan of blue anyway, but let me just, so you got some embossed card in this. I'm just going to get to the whole pieces so you can see the whole. I've got quite a lot that I've cut into now. So there's this side, and then you've got the opposite side, and then let's get rid of that one. Yeah, that's that one. So there's that side, and then that side, and that side, and then the other side is that, and then you've got this side, and the other side is the one that I've just used, and then there's this side, and the other side is that side, and then and you've got that one I've just showed you was another one. So this is some more embossed paper then you've got this side, and then this side. Really love that one as well. So there's that, and that side, that's it, I think. Yeah, and then of course you get your labels and some flowers, and then you get your punched out die cuts that you can use as well. I think you got a couple of those at least. I know you've got these couple of labels, well, three, looks like 3 labels and a couple of those. It's just a lovely set. I mean, it's hard that you live in Ireland and they won't supply to you, so, because it's a really, really beautiful heart corner, so that you have a video like that. I would love to do one with heart corners. Oh yes, I have seen that. No, but I can look into that to do it. So that I'll put that on my list, Valerie, and I'll do one with heart corners, because I have seen them, but I've never done one with the heart corners, because I think, if I'm right, they tuck in. So that's sort of, you use them as folding rather than cutting them. I think you make your heart on the outside of when you've got your ones going like that, then the hearts go in the corner like this, so as it opens up, your heart's on each of the corner, isn't it? And I've seen those. Whether I'll try and make a small one, I might, because I've seen them in bigger hearts, but I've never seen sort of a 6x6 with a heart one. I've got some heart dies, and I might have a look to see if any of those will fit, because that will be interesting. But yeah, so I'll put that on my radar, Valerie, and I will look into doing an exploding heart box, definitely. So as I say, it's absolutely stunning paper. I've got tons to go at, which is lovely. I mean, I look as though I've barely touched it, and I've made so many things so far with it. It's just beautiful, 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 and I wanted this set, as I say, when the catalogue first come out. When I went through the catalogue last year, it was on my want list. I'd ticked it and it was on my want list, and I just never got round to buying it. And the other thing was the gorgeous Posey card kit. For a minute then, I don't know, my signal just completely went. Yeah, so it was, as I say, it was on my want list, and I just never got round to getting it. And then I've got it in the retirement, so I've virtually paid half price for it. So that was lucky for me, because usually if you risk doing that, you actually risk not being able to get it at all. So, as I say, that is my project for today. If you are watching me on YouTube, please subscribe and press the notification bell so that you won't miss when I upload videos. And if you see what I've made today and like what you see and would like to purchase it, please visit my shop. The hostess code was at the beginning of this video to use. There will be a link back to my business page on Facebook, where it has a shop link to be able to buy. But you could also go to Stampin' Up, as long as you use the England one and put in the hostess code. When it asks for a hostess code, it will still link it to me, and you can share in the hostess reward. So thank you very much. Do appreciate that you've popped by to watch my video today, and I will be back tomorrow with more crafty goodness. Thank you very much. Bye.